The reward in a long night as a single star gleamed, capturing galaxies in her hair and eyes, our heavenly queen. Estelaria Butterfly, the sparkling, the first star queen. Born Mondan 3, 4 a.m. Died Spleenax 2, 74 a.m. Reigned 21 a.m. to 46 a.m. Married to Jet Ravenwood. Children Hemera Butterfly, Nux Butterfly, and Nightly Butterfly. Estelaria Butterfly was born to Queen Urania Butterfly and King Falcon Butterfly on Mondan 3, 4 years after the end of the War of Mewni Independence. She inherited her father's purple eyes. Her hair was a curiosity to all humans when it began to grow, as it was purple with star-like white dots on it that glowed in the dark. Later on in life, this ad had a nickname of the lady whose hair mirrors the night. Estelaria's cheeks bore purple 5-pointed stars, and they were her namesake, along with the starry night she was born on. The princess had little memory as an only child, as 4 years after her birth, her younger brother, Prince Wedwolf Butterfly, was born on Quark 12, 6 a.m. He bore the same purple eyes as his older sister, purple hair without the mini-stars as Estelaria called them, and possessed purple tulips on his cheeks. Estelaria loved her little brother, but sometimes tired of him following her around everywhere. She named him My Flowered Shadow as a result of this. Queen Urania was already taking Estelaria to meetings at this time, and Estelaria showed a great interest in politics, listening intently to the talks between Mewnistas. Estelaria often received compliments because of her hair, and this happened so often from potential suitors that she grew bored of hearing it by the time she was 8 years old. She also had a fierce temperament when it came to sports and magic, growing angered if she didn't find things easy. Estelaria was soon in great spirits due to Urania announcing her third pregnancy, and she talked about it with Wedwolf later to the night. She soon took to stargazing, and liked to point out stars during twilight and connect some patterns in them. This was the groundwork for astrology to boom later in her fourth great-granddaughter, Febe the Mistress of the Moon's reign, and stayed that way until Supina the Stranger's reign. Because of this, King Falcon gave her a telescope on her 9th birthday, and Estelaria treasured it until the day she died. It still stands to this day in the Royal Butterfly Museum. On Sagnog 10 a.m., Estelaria's little sister Joaquina Butterfly was born, with her grandfather's silver eyes, red hair from her father, and red upside-down question marks on her cheeks. Estelaria would barely leave her sister's side during infancy, which sometimes created problems for Queen Urania when Joaquina needed to nurse or change. Estelaria soon showed that she found trouble with long-sleeved dresses, and decided to have only short-sleeved summer dresses from now on. Queen Urania surprisingly supported this, as long as she wore long sleeves when guests came over. Estelaria showed happiness at Joaquina's mischievous antics, and adored her messages, even the ones that poked fun at her, though she did get a little stormy if the message poked fun at Queen Urania. Joaquina and Estelaria often teamed up to play pranks on Wedwolf, like the time they put a bug in his room, knowing the prince had a fear of that kind of bug. Wedwolf ran directly into Estelaria, fleeing from the bug, and chased the laughing princesses up and down the castle in a rage until they were quelled by Queen Urania and King Falcon. This, and many other incidents, gave Estelaria and Joaquina the nickname from their parents of the Princesses Mischievous. Unfortunately, around this time is when Joaquina's attacks of delirium began to surface. Estelaria had always thought her sister was a normal child, and became worried for her in these states. You could always count on Estelaria to help her sister through her attacks, however. If you hadn't picked up on it by now, Estelaria liked to nickname people. She called her brother Red and her sister Kina. She also took to fondly calling Isis Cross and her husband, Serpentine Cross, Aunt and Uncle Cross. One time, Wedwolf was subject to teasing from Ironside Stone, the son of the Stone family. He vented this to Estelaria, and the next day, Estelaria stepped between them when Ironside ridiculed him for his hobby of gardening. Ironside teased the princess, and Estelaria in return picked up Ironside and tossed him into a creek nearby. Ironside bitterly ran off, and the teasing ended after that. Wedwolf said that memory of Estelaria tossing him into a creek is one that will humour me until my last day. Spring Acts 5 at 17 a.m. is a day that lived in the children's minds forever. Estelaria and Wedwolf were studying in the library until Wedwolf heard a noise from their mother's room and went to see what it was. Estelaria waited for some time in the library until she heard shouting from a nearby room and a loud scream. In a great panic, Estelaria ran to the room and found Wedwolf with a horrific burn on his hand, tossing a burnt-out match away with the rest of the packet. Joachina ran from the magic book of spells, and Estelaria blocked Joachina while Wedwolf picked up the book and hurried it away from her. Queen Urania then entered with King Falcon, having been alerted by Joachina's angry screams, as Joachina began to scream about burning until a tearful Estelaria begged her to stop. Wedwolf fled with the book after being asked about the burn, and Estelaria hugged her sister, weeping heavily. Joachina looked horrible, with tears flowing down her cheeks. A moment to Estelaria. "I'm not normal. I wanted to stop. Why did it choose me?" Estelaria only sobbed her sister's name over and over, till she stood up and locked herself in the room for a fortnight. Estelaria inherited the wand the year after, and when she touched it, it assumed a red round body with a purple star crystal in the middle. Estelaria loved her princess song, though she went pink under the praise, as she danced with her friends and siblings the night after. Wedwolf never told anyone, but he frequently spent the night with Estelaria because he had started to have nightmares about his younger sister. Estelaria wept into her pillow upon being told this, and the siblings spent half the night crying in each other's arms. Around 20 a.m. was one day that Estelaria could barely recall in her head, as this was the day that Joachina Butterfly was found dead in the castle gardens under her window, with a fire spreading throughout the castle. Estelaria wept for months and wore clearly back afterwards, even at that coronation. On 20 a.m., Joachina had a beautiful funeral service conducted, and was buried on a hill under a tree where she used to sew with her mother. The service was covered in red and had upbeat music, conveying her upbeat attitude. The death of Joachina was officially declared to be an accident and unrelated to the fire, but Wedwolf and Estelaria had their doubts about these two things. Urania wanted to continue as queen, but Estelaria and Wedwolf saw that it was detrimental to her health to continue with so many duties after Joachina's death. Under her children's advice, Urania passed the crown to Estelaria in 21 a.m. and she was crowned Queen Estelaria Butterfly, the second Queen of Mewni. Estelaria championed many negotiations in her time, including a war with the Sky Kingdom. A short time after this, a man named Jet Ravenwood, who was a Mewman knight, became friends with the Queen, and became known as her second closest confidant after her brother. After a brief courtship, mainly focusing on their shared love of dancing and astrology, Estelaria announced her engagement to Jet to their families. On August 23 a.m., Queen Estelaria and King Jet were married, with a heartwarming speech from Urania. Estelaria also resumed wearing colours again after she was married. Just a few months later, Estelaria announced that she was pregnant with an heir, and had developed a method to tell the gender of the baby with the wand by holding it in front of your lower body. It was indeed confirmed that this baby would be a girl. Estelaria did have quite a passionate life in marriage with Jet, but that's all she would say about it. Some things are private matters after all. On Spring 1, 24 a.m., Estelaria gave birth to a girl with light blue eyes and pink pyramids on her cheeks. She named this girl Hemera, meaning Queen of Day in a language Bastian, spoken by some of Jet's family members. Hemera showed a love for the constellations of her mother and wanted to study the sky further. Estelaria, Urania, and Hemera used to play hide and seek around the castle, and Hemera quickly came to beat them both. One day, Estelaria and Wedwolf were having a secret discussion about the circumstances of Joachina's death. They wondered if the death might have been suicide, but was stopped by the yelling of their mother, who had been spying on the conversation. This resulted in a huge fight between them, and ended with Wedwolf leaving the palace for 2 days. Estelaria felt awful for agitating her mother and went to apologise to her. Urania told her daughter that she'd never stay mad at her, and the argument was solved as quickly as it had begun. Hemera wished to study abroad in magic, So Estelaria and Jet, after a long discussion, allowed her to go to the Horseshoe Institute of Magic in Adami, the same country that Jet's mother had come to Mewni from. A year later, on Mondan 37:32 a.m., Nux Butterfly was born, a girl with purple eyes, grey hair, and grey winged planets on her cheeks. 4 years later, Nightly Butterfly was born on Zamarano 7:38 a.m. He was a boy with grey eyes, purple hair, and blue four-pointed stars on his cheeks. Hemera returned home to inherit the world and spent the first long period of time with her sibling. Queen Estelaria and King Jet were happy that they could spend time together as a family once more. Estelaria and Red Wolf would frequently take Nix and Nightly to their childhood play spots and acquainted them with the grave of Jokina, who would encourage their children to speak to their aunt, and Nux said that she felt energy around her grave compelling her to be happy. When Hemera returned home for good at 18 and a party was held in her honour with the family, Estelaria was shocked at her foreign appearance. Hemera pleaded with her to allow her to wear the foreign style of clothing, if only in the summer. Estelaria was unsure of this, but Jet swayed her to agree. Notably, it was Nightly and not Nux who took an interest in her golden jewellery. Estelaria showed some concern about this, but never confronted him about it. Estelaria was happy to see that Hemera's grasp of Bastion led her to have strong relationships with her cousins. Soon, Hemera inherited the crown, and a year later she announced her engagement to her family. She was engaged to Roman Caius, a man who she had met in Adami who was a noble in that kingdom. This marked her as the first queen to marry a non-Mewman. Estelaria happily witnessed the marriage of her son to Diana McKnightly, eldest daughter of the McKnightly family, and her daughter to Helia Styx, a landholder in rural Mewni. Soon after, Urania passed away in her sleep. Estelaria spent a long time supporting her father, who moved in with the family after his wife's death. Estelaria surely loved all of her grandchildren, but her favourite seemed to be Minerva Styx. She also called her grandchildren Mika, Cosmica, Pol, Apollo, Minnie, Minerva, Sam, Summer, and Mel, Melba, respectively. She never shortened the names of her children, however. When the Queen Mother Estelaria was informed of her father's passing, she noticeably smiled with tears rolling down her cheeks and thanked the messenger for bringing the message to her. She sat with her head in her hands, shaking for a long period of time. From that day forward, Estelaria only wore black. Double catastrophe struck in 72 a.m. when early in the year, Jet passed away from illness, and later, Red Wolf passed from old age. Estelaria went to pieces after her brother died, crying many nights and inconsolable until her death. On spring next to 74 a.m., Estelaria passed away during the day from natural causes. Her legacy of the stars lasted generations of Mewni.